how free should we be? How much should we break the rules? I mean, the search for more freedom, the striving for more freedom, is a natural pull that we all have within us. It makes us feel that we're more in control of ourselves. It makes us feel that we own ourselves. It makes us feel more powerful, more able. It makes us feel bigger. So we're always, since we've been very young, we've always been striving to, as I've mentioned, break the rules and go beyond the boundaries and the limitations and what either ourselves or others think that we're able to go beyond. And the problem with that is that a lot of times we forget of the consequences. We forget that there will be resistance, and when we encounter resistance, we many times very quickly assume that what we should do is disregard the resistance, disregard the potential negative consequences, and still strive for more freedom, strive to do more of what we want, of what makes us feel the way we want to feel. We want to continually strive to fulfill our desires and our needs, even at the expense of what others might think or feel. And it's a very dangerous game. So how free should we be? I think we should be as free as the consequences, the potential consequences from that freedom that we're willing to live with. The potential consequences that we're willing to live with. So whenever you want to do something, now a lot of times we don't want to, we're not honest with ourselves, and we don't want to see what the consequences could be because our striving for that freedom, because our striving for the breaking of those rules or the trespassing of that boundary. We don't want to see the consequences. We blind ourselves to many of the potential consequences because we want that thing that we're aiming at. So we avoid looking at anything that might change our mind. Because we don't want to change our mind. We want to go for that thing that we want. Because changing our mind is hard work. We don't want to question our desires because that means that we have to dig deeper. And that means that we might have to question our own identity, our story, who we are, what we value. And that's too much work for most people. And our brain tries to avoid working hard, investing energy, that things might be unnecessary. Because it wants to reserve it for surviving. So it tries to keep us with the same desires, with the same values, with the same ideas, with the same beliefs. But it's the most intelligent thing that we can do to question our own desires and to strive to see more of the potential consequences, the things that you think won't happen or could not happen by you doing something, by you striving for more freedom by you breaking certain rules, whether those are your own rules, whether those are rules that other people set, or society, to have the courage to see more of the potential consequences, that those things that you think are improbable could happen. And if they could happen, if there's even the minimum possibility of that thing happening, of that thing that you're scared of that thing that you don't want to look at, if there's the minimum possibility of that thing happening, then ask yourself, am I willing to live with that consequence? If you are, then strive to do that thing that you want to do. Because even if the worst thing happens, well, you're still winning, because you've already opened yourself to the consequences. You're aware of them, and you still want to do that thing. You still think that doing that thing that you want to do is worth it. So do it, because then maybe it is. If you've really opened yourself to the potential consequences, and you're willing to live with those consequences in exchange for you to do that which you want to do, then doing that which you want to do is worth it, and you should do it. But if you're not willing to live with those consequences, if you're not even willing to look or to accept that those consequences could happen, that they're a possibility, if you're not willing to accept that they're a possibility, then you're too fucking afraid of those consequences. And that means that if those consequences were to emerge out of your choices, then they are consequences that you were not willing to live with. I mean, just by I mean, it's common sense. If you don't want to accept that something could happen, it means that you're afraid of it happening. And that maybe you doing the thing that could make that other thing happen is not worth it. So question yourself more, be more open to look at the potential consequences. Believe me, very, very, very few times do we actually open ourselves to see what could actually go wrong. Very times do we see what could actually go wrong. We're too fucking afraid of seeing clearly, of opening up to the possibilities. We rather just keep doing the things that feel good moment to moment, avoid looking at the consequences, and then we feel bad. Then we suffer. We suffer when things don't result the way we were expecting them to. So that's it for now, guys. Consequences, freedom. Reflect on that.